Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Will. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay, see me okay. We are live. It is 7:30 on the Pacific Coast right now. Tuning in here from LA. This week, we're going to be going over the top stocks that you need to watch, from AI giants to powerful data center plays, plus a few innovative quantum computing companies that most people don't seem to be looking at quite yet. And also puts some smaller cap opportunities on the radar for you. Higher risk, yes, but with the potential to deliver massive value, or they're already delivering some value to the marketplace. Now, this video is extra special because I'm revealing the power of the machine, our brand new AI powered stock analysis system, and I'll break down exactly how it works, and I'll even show you how to run AI driven research on your own. Now, just a quick reminder, if you guys haven't locked in the lifetime access for Stockmate before it switches over to the monthly pricing this week on the 1st, so tomorrow, I would encourage you. I'm going to have, or if you haven't grabbed the Stockmate as a bonus from the machine, I'm going to show you, stick in this video because I'm going to show you exactly how to unlock it. Now, this system is still in beta, but even in the early tests, it's been so powerful that you're probably never going to look at investing the same way again. Whether you're a complete beginner or you're a seasoned investor looking to speed up your analysis, this is a revolutionary new approach that will change how you trade. And today, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do our normal Sunday stock talk, but we're going to be using it as a demo for those of you guys that are already in the machine, or those of you guys that are looking at potentially using the machine. This will be a great video for you. Now let's jump into it. So first things first, I'm going to open up kind of our charts. We got some, we have our quantum AI watch list, which is exciting because this week we're actually going to a quantum conference in Albuquerque. So that should be great. Get some new insights for you. For those of you guys that haven't been on the channel before, my name's Will. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to start this off with some analysis, and we're going to jump in with our AI tool as well. So how's everybody doing? I see some people in the live chat, which is awesome. Just getting started here on this Sunday afternoon. We don't have the market open, so I could even see an alert here. Stock and options markets are closed. You can still queue stock and ETF orders that US customers can invest in crypto, but the stocks are closed for Labor Day tomorrow. So are you guys ready to jump in? Go ahead, just comment down in the chat with the word ready, and let's get into it. And also, feel free, I'm going to jump into some tickers, but definitely feel free to comment your ticker symbols that you're watching, different companies you're looking at right now that might be helpful for you to get an analysis of, or that I can cover for you, or that you got some valuable tickers there that you want us to go over. So the first thing we're going to jump into here, this week, we're going to a quantum conference. So why don't we jump into IONQ? This is a quantum stock we've been watching for a while. We did a top 5 quantum watch list recently that was super, super informative. If you guys missed that, let me know because I could drop the link for you. But what we're looking at with IONQ, we see them over the last few months, or I guess almost a year now. When we started covering them back in October, they were just around $8 a share. At current time of filming this video, they're about $42 a share. So we've seen them make tremendous runs, and we've seen the quantum market have some big spikes and some dips, especially after NVIDIA CEO said quantum computing's 15, 30 years away. The whole market tanked, and then dipped even more. But now we see them back to what are almost all-time highs. So now that we see them get up into this new level, they recently bounced the 200-day moving average. Things are looking pretty good for this company as they're in quantum. And this is a new revolutionary part of the market that a lot of people haven't been informed about. But let's take a look at the financials. So I'm going to do some of my own research. I'm going to do it right in front of you. And then we're going to use the machine and kind of see how it stacks up against our research. So first things first, IONQ. We have a market cap of 12 billion. You can see their revenue has been pretty low, pretty volatile. Even now surging up here revenue up to 20 million in the quarter, they still had a negative net income. So they're spending more than they're making right now. Not very healthy on the income statement, because obviously you'd like to see them have a positive net income, right? Wouldn't we all like to see a positive net income? Now, inside of their balance sheet, we see the total assets rising quarterly up to about $1.3 billion in this last quarter. So they are seeing a lot of growth to put them into a good future position to be able to pay and invest back into the company. Now I see a couple comments here. AG says, check out Celsius. It looks like it could go back near highs after quarter three. We'll take a look, AG. Another comment here. Galem says, hi, Will. Still didn't get my t-shirt. Please read my chat message inside of the community. Ah, okay. Yeah, we'll get you your t-shirt if you have not grabbed your t-shirt. I will go ahead and send me a direct message. If you could send me a direct message there inside of Stockmate, I'll make sure you get that t-shirt. So we see more focus on this stock. Now, it's maybe not the hottest stock. Maybe it's not what most people are covering. Maybe it's not the big data center company that's powering everything. But, you know, they are building some quantum technology with customers that are notable. We see GE Research. They're with Air Force Research Laboratory, Hyundai, Airbus, Los Alamos National Laboratory, and most importantly, they're partnered and backed by NVIDIA. So we look at this information, it's pretty good. They're working with Google, they're working with Lockheed Martin, they're working with Microsoft Azure. Let's take a look at what the machine does. So the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to open up the machine here from our page here. And the first thing you're going to do when using the machine is you're going to log in up here. And if you're using the machine, you can simply, you want to sign up. Actually, you're going to click sign up. I already have an account. I'm going to sign in. And then I'm going to go ahead and search into the stock. And in this case, we're going to be searching IONQ. Cool. All right. And Bernavid says, howdy, Will and crew, saying hello from Sydney, Australia. Can we discuss the Mercatus refund policy, please? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can always discuss that. Bernie, are you in Mercatus? Have you got in Mercatus? Were you just asking as an outside looker? Let me know. More than happy to answer. When it comes to the future price projections for IONQ, it's projecting over the next day that we see a slight uptrend. Now, what just happened? I just searched this stock and it pulled up a future chart with some analysis. So what did it just do? Well, if I go ahead and I search the next 3 months or the next 6 months, and we see a projection here, let's take the next week. Oh, looks like it could see a potential downturn in the next week. Quantum market slightly bearish over the medium term, maybe looking a little bit overbought. Is that the case? Seems to be. Seems like when we look at companies like Rigetti, we look at companies like QBTS, we've seen them start to downtrend a little bit. We've seen them start to get rejected. We've seen IONQ reach some highs here, and they're more looking near a top right now. You can kind of see this resistance level, and maybe we do see a near-term correction. So that's what the machine is saying. Now, if we go over the next month, oh, looks like we're bullish on the next month. Moderate growth. It says IONQ's monthly performance has been consistently positive. Longer term market trends are seeming to be bullish, which we do see that with the interest rates, and that we're potentially looking at a rate cut, which we could see a big impact in the market. Growth investor interest and trading volume suggest upward momentum. Let's see how that checks out. If we go to, let's say we jump into NASDAQ and we search up this stock IONQ. We were just on APLD, which is Applied Digital. And we want to vet and see, is there institutional interest? Let's see what the holdings look like. Yeah, so it just said in Mercatus, we're saying that it says potential growing investor interest and trading volume suggests the upward momentum. When we went to NASDAQ, we see more increased positions than decreased positions. So what does this do? Well, when we first searched up the stock, it was going through and it was telling us it's going through the financials, it's going through the technical analysis for the chart, it was going through the news for the company, it was going through the investor holdings. And so when we go check it out and say, well, what's the machine? How accurate is it? We see more increased positions, more institutional buyers, more banks buying IONQ, 355 to be exact, than decreased positions, which is only 129. So you can see that Vanguard is buying more. BlackRock is purchasing more of this company. State Street is buying more. JP Morgan is buying more. So essentially, when we're looking at the machine saying that, we can see that checks out. What about the next 6 months? The next 6 months, it's anticipating it's going to be up about 11%. Why is that? Well, it says potential significant positive financial events or news is expected within this 6-month period, increasing institutional interest and investment in IONQ. The long-term market trends for quantum seem to be very bullish, and that checks out. Now, again, this is an 11% future chart. This is the future projection for IONQ that the machine came up with. Now, this is what OpenAI is saying. If I click on OpenAI in the top right corner, we have OpenAI connected. We're not using Grok right now. We're using OpenAI. And you could see OpenAI with all of the real-time insights we're able to give it, along with their best model that they have available. This is the projection that comes out on the 6-month that we just selected. So when we look back at IONQ, you look at the institutional holding. Okay, it checks out. But what else did it say? The other thing that it said here was significant positive financial events or news is expected in this company within the next 6-month period. Now, what do we know about that? Well, if I go over to IONQ, and this is just the stocks we understand, that I can give you good analysis on, so I can show you that it's checking out and it's checking all the boxes, it's doing the research that I normally do, and it's combining that with the AI that we have, in this case, senators, quantum leaders back a $2.7 billion National Quantum Initiative Reauthorization Act. Now, this bill is still getting pushed through. It's expected, it's not if, it's when, and it's supposed to be going through extremely soon. And with that bill, in that $2.7 billion on this Quantum Insider that's basically on the desks right now of getting pushed through, what do we know? Well, if I go into this article and I go through and I look at, okay, well, quantum technology is our future. National Quantum Initiative Reauthorization Act will help. Okay. We go through Quantum Industry Coalition is committed to advancing U.S. quantum. You see a lot of other countries like China investing more, so U.S. plans to invest more. Oh, what else? Oh, IONQ applauds the center. So IONQ is now in this conversation as a company that would potentially benefit from this bill getting passed. So that lines up pretty good with what we're seeing come through over here on the machine. So it's super powerful to go ahead and get into a analysis frame that works for you. And basically this analysis is what works for me. And we've basically put it into AI in this system that is changing the way that I'm investing. I can now get projections on stocks in the next 6 months, 12 months, or what have you, in a way that can do that analysis for me. So that's how we kind of use it initially. So what other questions do we have? What's going on? Let's see. Student Asim says, hi, Will, can you say something about the BBAI with the machine? There's some targets, maybe 550. Should I be concerned with the stock going down, feeling bad? Let's take a look. So when it comes to IONQ, you could see, or BBAI, excuse me, You can go over to our AI defense companies. We know that they're over here in the defense sector. They're kind of similar to the same markets as Leidos. In some of the same markets, they're partnered there with Palantir as well. But how does it look? Well, we see BBAI has been up about 500% year over year. We started covering it around $1. It's up about 500%. Recently pulled back. It's kind of in this trend down since they had their earnings come out with that negative net income, which affected them. Some of the things that helped them rebound and sustain higher than when they dropped on that earnings was that they have good cash build up. If I'm doing analysis on BBAI, I'm looking fairly bullish. I like what they're doing. I'd like to see in the near term, maybe with some downward pressure, we see them sell down a little bit. If they can't hold that $5 price point, which they're trying to hold for the last week here. If they can't hold $5, yeah, maybe next target, $4 somewhere there. But ultimately, long term, they're holding well above this 200-day moving average. If we just take a step back here, you can see that holding above the 200-day moving average. And they're in this downtrend right now, in this medium-term trend. And they're looking to make a recovery back up into $6 a share. About $5 to $6 a share would be our target. This $5.50 to $6 would be if things go really well on a recovery, and they're still going to face resistance at about $6 a share. But ultimately, in the long term, in the market they're going into, we really like the market they're in. So they're in defense, biometrics. They're building out infrastructure that they have over 15 international airports where they have their biometrics. Their financials didn't look good in the income statement last quarter, but then they doubled or tripled the amount of money that they have year over year. It doesn't even show up in 2025 yet, but in this last quarter, their cash is up 440%. So let's go ahead. Let's head over to, well, this isn't the Grok analysis. We're just staying on the OpenAI. But if you want to switch, you just click up in the top right corner. You're going to click that select AI model. You're going to click OpenAI. You're going to click Grok, whichever one you want. In this case, we're clicking the OpenAI. And we're going to go ahead and click we're going to search up. So you just click the ticker and we're going to search up BBAI. So BBAI. I'm going to go ahead. So you can see what it's doing now. It's analyzing the charts, pulling the relative financials, tying the relativity to the 6 month, the 1 year, even down to what we have is the 4 hour. Now, the news that it's considering, the press releases, and it's going to the source, is not primarily going to be the same press releases that will affect the 1 year that it's considering for that 1 year projection, for the same articles or news that it's considering for the next month. So it has a favorable upside here. In the next 6 months, it's actually a little more conservative than us in this case, because I would actually look, we were talking 550, isn't that what we said? We're looking for it to get back up into that 550 to $6 range. It's projecting the future price here to be about $5.50 in the next 6 months. A little slower than we expect, but let's take a look at the shorter time frames. Okay, so shorter time frames, we're looking at 1 to 2%. Maybe overall market conditions are favorable. That's what it's looking at for the next day. If we look at the next month, how's it look? Still green. It's fairly green. We didn't see any red like we saw over on IONQ. So maybe the overall consensus here is that it's looking green. And it's projecting them to get up about over 11% in the next year. Now it's a little conservative. I would say that's a pretty conservative estimate. But it's considering that they also are working through some things. So if they are, let's say, it says their assets are showing consistent performance, moderate uptrend, general market conditions for them are favorable, which it is. They have, what is that article that came out with where they're getting ready to be the biometric company for the mega events like 2026 FIFA World Cup or 2028 Olympics, both coming to America. Big Bear themselves said that this is a rare opportunity to advance national security, elevate the traveler experience. What else do they have as catalysts? They have some TSA screening partnerships. So, when you ask me, we're fairly bullish on them with consideration in their near-term trend of trying to hold this $5 support. And if they can hold it, that's great. I'm sure if they were to break that support, we could see some different projections. But the machine is giving us more of a steady, moderate growth here in the near term. Now, when it comes to the machine and how it operates, it's meant to streamline your analysis and give you a general look into what the future holds. Now, of course, there's variations. There's market conditions that change. And that's why it's really important to, when I'm doing analysis with the machine, I update it and I'll do a refresh, pretty often. And so sometimes things could change, from day to day. And so oftentimes I'll have it it already redoes the research. So I can just query it and boom, I can get my analysis. So we can kind of see how this compares. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into Grok. I think the Grok analysis is good to go. And I'm going to search it back up here. And you can see it's giving me, it's pulling the relative financials. It's giving the Grok analysis now. Good. So there's some good questions here. Good evening from Steve Byron. Asim, we got that breakdown of BBAI, so that's good. Let's see how Grok looks. So Grok says economic indicators are favorable. Their strategic initiatives are expected to yield results. So Grok is a little more bullish on BBAI than OpenAI's model. And it kind of makes sense because I think Grok considers Twitter and X. And I think there's a lot of conversation, probably maybe a little bit more hype related to Grok. And so sometimes it could be, much more of a pulse on X. So that's kind of why you see maybe a little more bullish outlook there. Yeah, just a little bit more bullish on the Grok analysis. And I believe that's working properly for the Grok. Looks like it. To double check there, but it looks like it's working. So the future price, it's projecting next week about $5.20. It's basically doing all the research I would normally do, and it's doing it for me. So we have some other questions here. Let's take a look. Have we tested projections of the machine? Yes. And does it work for crypto? That's a good question. I think it semi works for crypto. We have some crypto integration. Let me see if Bitcoin jumps in. We'll see if it works. But yeah, so to start off with the power of the machine, I've been using it all the time to get better analysis, at least as a second look into what I'm already investing in. So that kind of answers the question. Kevin, good to see you here in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on launching the machine, Kevin says. All right, so Bitcoin. All right, it gave us an announcement here. It's saying Bitcoin is medium-term uncertainty, could lead to a slight downturn. It's saying that Bitcoin's projected to go down about 2.5% over the next week, considering all of the real-time data we're able to get in the Grok analysis, and that's with Grok's best model. But they're also using the data that we provide. So we give it some data as well and point it in the direction and combine it with the experience that we have that's able to execute on how we normally do our analysis. And so you can see next 3 months, it looks bullish though on Bitcoin. It was looking bearish in that near term, but it says the next 3 months, continued market growth and positive sentiment could fuel the moderate rise over the next 3 months. The long-term trend suggests continued growth in cryptocurrency markets. Increasing adoption of the blockchain technology by businesses, which is very true. Potential release of new cryptocurrency regulations, that's very true as well. See that happening in the SEC, and new cryptos getting added to ETFs and things. So you see it work not just on stocks, but on other assets that you're looking to get that analysis done for you. So you basically click a button or search your stock, and boom, there it is. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, it doesn't stop here. I can tell you we're working tirelessly to add more of an in-depth analysis, not so that you can just see the analysis and get an idea of what's going into the future chart and why it's projecting what it's projecting, but also being able to find those sources for yourself. See what else we got here in the comment section, and we're going to jump into some new stocks here. The other... Steven says, Bitcoin price seems a bit off. How so? Oh yeah, it's showing an interesting, it does show an interesting, let's see, maybe it's not working. Well, it was working because it was giving us Bitcoin analysis, but something was going on with the price that it was using for the chart. I'll bring that to my team, see what we got. But I think it should be working. It was using the ETF. That's what's going on. Well, I'll search the word Bitcoin. Oh, there you go. Does that price look right, Steven? How does that price look? It's at 108,000. Is that correct?
It feels like.
Okay, Bitcoin has a strong potential to continue the uptrend up into, it's projecting about 120,000 over the next 3 months. And currently it's at 108. So that's just when you search the right Bitcoin, when you search the right. The BTC was the ETF. That's why that happened. Yep, the GBTC, I think maybe it was looking at. So there's another question there. We're going to take a look at CTM stock. I think that would be good for Johnny. That'd be good for Kevin. And we'll jump in to the AI defense companies. And then there's another comment. Bernie says, I got a question about the refunds to make sure this is right for me. Just a general discussion of your expectations for the refunds if it's not right for me, if it's beyond you. Got it. So like something like you don't feel comfortable with the technology or something and like figuring it out. Yeah, so I mean, how it works is we do a training every single week on how to use the machine. But we also use, so we're doing a demo now, but we have a private training we do on Thursdays. So you get that training every week. You also get a call with myself where we can work together. You and I can work together on working for what's best for us to get you on the right track to using the tools right, getting the research that you need, and getting into a flow of streamlining your analysis, getting faster at it, and also feeling confident that the integrity of the investments you're in are good. And so you get a call where we can work together, and then you also get access to StockMate as well. So the daily live trading. And when it comes to the refund, it's like it depends on how you use it. If we go ahead and we're on the phone, you and I, and we're working through things and we're doing consulting, or it's white glove with my team and we're making sure that you're getting all the tools and you're using it, you're using the live sessions, everything else, then obviously like the service at that point, we're providing so much service. I'm willing to work with you until you get results. But if that's the case, there wouldn't be a refund, obviously. But if you get in, you're like, this is just not for me. Like I don't like the color of it or whatever, yeah, if you don't know my sincerity by now, you can know, you could try it, and like no questions asked if you're like really not feeling it totally. Yeah. So now this is the machine. This is the analysis. So let's jump in. We're gonna jump into CTM stock. I'm gonna jump up on the machine, and we could do the Grok analysis. I think it's functioning correct. OpenAI was giving us very, very clear answers. I don't know if the Grok was fully on par, but you can see it's tying relativity, it's skimming press releases from the company, it's analyzing charts, it's pulling the financials, and it gave us this analysis for CTM. So CTM, it's fairly bullish over the next 3 months. It expects them to get up into that $1.10 range, and very bullish over the next year, expecting them to get well above, well, I would imagine well above $1.25. It says that they're in a rapidly growing sector, which they are. We can kind of jump into it, and let's jump into it. So CTM stock has had this very consistent market cap build. You can see started covering them around 87 cents, and they are just around $100 million market cap. You can see them start to build this market cap up to $100 million, and they are slowly building. This is the last year. You can see they've had some spikes up to $1.67. They're a little higher risk. So this is one of those smaller cap stocks that we talked about at the beginning that has high risk. When it's sold down to 86 cents. It's spiked up to, $1.56. And throughout the swings this summer, it's been holding above this 95-cent price point. So we're watching right now. I think that it's a company that I'm personally invested in, right? So I'm personally invested in it. It's a little bit higher risk than most people, and I wouldn't urge anybody to get into it without, caution or anything like that. But here's what we know. They got 238 employees, okay? So pretty solid for a $92 million market cap. When we look at their total balance sheet, they got about $43 million in balance sheet in their cash assets. So as you can see, the blue on the left is their assets and the orange is their liabilities. They've been growing their assets very steadily, quarter over quarter, year over year. And they're at an all-time high now of 43 million with their liabilities cut down to 11. So their liabilities are down 32%. They're cutting their liabilities, and their assets are up to 43 million. So they're seeing a lot of growth there. Now, the income statement here is also looking like we're seeing growth. Annually, they're increasing their income pretty significantly, up to $44 million last year. And then into 2025 so far, they're on track to do over $50 million in revenue. So increasing their revenue as well. So revenue is increasing about 20% year over year. This company processes large amounts of data for the US government. So they have been building out some interesting pipelines. They have a $100 million contract, which is bigger than their current market cap with the Naval Air Systems. Now, the problem with what they've had some new contracts, which is good. In fact, they've also raised money successfully, but and also they actually have been moving into agentic AI, which is really good because agentic AI for the government, I mean, that's got to be one of the best industries to be moving into as a defense company and working with tech and surveillance and cybersecurity with the government is to do agentic AI. I mean, that's a very high level AI that can complete tasks basically for the government, save the government money and things like that. So it's a very good value they could bring to the government. But the problem is that they are having one of those things where it's like, what's the saying, or like when you're doing a fundraiser, this is a good example. When you're a kid and you're doing a fundraiser and you want to raise money for something, who do you go to first? You go to who you know. You go to your grandma, your aunt, your uncle to try and raise money or something like that. So one thing that we got to look at with CTM is that they raised money, or not raised money. They got their $100 million contract from the previous employer of the CEO. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That's really good. It's a great contract, over $100 million. I mean, let's go. For a small company that's only worth 80 million, or 92 million, that's great. It's going to propel them for many years here. But the problem is if they're getting that contract from a place that the CEO used to work, now the question is, all right, how many hats does he have? How many rabbits does he have in his hat? Can he get some more contracts that aren't from previous employers? Can the CEO, which is usually the deal maker, find other deals that will be beneficial for the company that aren't a previous employer, basically. Can they go out and get some new contracts? And we haven't seen too much of that recently, so that's one thing that I think is not good for them, that we want to see some new contracts roll in. But they're on track to continue to beat their revenue, and they're trading below their fair market value. And so I like them as just a steady, unhyped, low cap stock. And so let's take a look at the analysis. So the analysis is fairly bullish, projecting basically what their increased revenue has been year over year, which is 24% year over year. Pretty great. It says they're in a rapidly growing sector. So there's a lot of reasons to watch CTM stock, and this is just kind of a peek inside how we do the analysis. If you want to get more analysis like this, you want to get the breakdowns of the companies. The machine is what I'm using to streamline a lot of our analysis to get future projections fast on companies that we're researching, and I found it to be extremely helpful. So we could pull up the OpenAI as well. It's analyzing charts. It's tying the relativity to the 1 year, the 6 month. It's analyzing and pulling relative financials and tying the relativity, checking verifiable sources, and it's doing the research. Now, sometimes it could take a little bit. You got to give it a second to get everything together and come out with the future chart. But there we go. Okay, it gave us a little bit of an error. It's saying zero. Let's see, there we go, $0. Okay, so next 3 months is showing bullish. You could see, is there any negative outlooks for the company? Doesn't look like it has too much negative downside. Now, when we're looking at the chart, that would kind of be what we'd expect. We kind of expect it to be at a bottom right here. It's down at a support level, a pretty strong support that we've been watching here at about 90 cents, 95 cents a share. And this is where we kind of expect it to bounce. So as a CTM holder myself, I wouldn't encourage you to buy. Of course, it could go down further, but probabilities say, and the market that they're in would indicate that they're going to see some more growth. Their market cap that they're at, to how much money they're making, would indicate more growth. So given those things, along with some of the institutional interest that we would see in a company like this that we haven't seen yet, if we had seen it, they'd be a $500 million company, $1 billion company. We haven't seen institutional become attracted, but I believe they have institutional attracting value. So between where they're at now, they're looking for a 10% bounce up in that $1.07 range to potentially up in this $1.50 range. It's kind of the next targets that we're looking at for CTM. Of course, a greater uptrend, we'd like to see something like this where they can get that move and continue to build the market cap, maybe up into this $1.50, a 50% to even a $2 price point, which would be about a $200 million market cap of about 140% increase on the company. So that's what we're watching with CTM. So you can experiment. You have the machine. If you're in the machine, excellent, you got access. If you aren't in the machine, you can grab access in the first link in the description. And some of you guys saw the release. It's really exciting. You can go check it out. We did it on Thursday. And it's closing soon because, as I mentioned, it's white glove. You get to work with me. I'm not only trying to onboard you to get using these tools and learn, but also, our team, it's pretty white glove experience. And that's why we're doing this. And it's a 1-year license. So you get all of the new models. Claude is one we're adding. Gemini, the Ultra, which is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to the Google model. DeepSeek and Meta are all getting added in this year. So look forward to those if you're in it for the 1-year license. Now, when it comes to how to get started, you can click the first link below. It will take you to the machine. You can start looking at it now. If you're looking at getting Stockmates, our daily live trading, it's happening on Tuesday as it does Monday through Friday, but market's closed. It's the second link below for Stockmate. Lifetime access is going away on September 1st. So if you want to grab lifetime access, then not pay a subscription, it's the second link. If you want to get Stockmate as a bonus for joining the machine, you can get that too when you join the machine. So you get Stockmate as a bonus for free when you enroll in the machine. So I'd encourage you to simply take a look at the first link below. Guys, I appreciate you all, and I'm excited to get this out to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. There's some good comments there. So we were looking, futures were higher, green early. Bernie Vid says thumbs up. Love it, Bernie. Thanks for tuning in. Josiah says, Rich Tech Robotics, you'll thank me later. Their financials haven't caught up, but I definitely like that they're doing robotics. That is another phase of AI. Michael Anthony says, when did CTM raise cash, and how much cash did they raise in debt? They've been raising cash pretty consistently over the last few months actually. And they ended up, you could see some 2 million, some 5 million raises here and there over the summer. And they ended up cutting their debts significantly. You could see the CEO published a letter in July where he said that we reduced our long-term debt to less than 16 million today, or less than 5 million, while they raised over 16 million. So that's why the balance sheet looks so good on CTM right now, because they're really keeping it disciplined there. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you all. Got the questions answered. That is the machine so far, and I look forward to unlocking its potential with you. Thanks so much for joining again. And yeah, if you guys want to join us, it's going away. So first link below for the machine, second link for Stockmate. Appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Ice. Thanks, Mark, Michael, Anthony, Steven Smith, Rob, Dennis, AG, Steve, Byron, AG. I appreciate you all. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and